What is up? What is poppin'? What is happening? How are you all? Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Mastery Podcast, where we help you build yourself, build your business, and join the new 1%. Today, I have my brother, not my real brother, but my friendly brother of the universe and future roommate, Dakota Robertson, who is an online writer, agency owner, and fitness bro. On this episode, we talk about adopting a fuck it mentality to acquire stories worth telling, how Dakota transformed from Chubby Chunker to jacked Chad, and why writing is the most important skill to cultivate. Dakota and I have met in person. He is from Canada. I am from the US. He flew down on a whim. He said fuck it, as we're talking about in this episode, and we have many stories to tell from that. We don't dive into all of them. We dive into some, but it's a great podcast either way. And for anyone interested in personal development as a whole, this should be a podcast that you listen all the way through. Before we get into it, let's talk about Modern Mastery HQ. MMHQ is a tight-knit community of people that want a streamlined way to starting and growing an online business so you can monetize the things that you love learning about in your free time, create more free time for yourself, and work from anywhere in the world. Building a business is a necessary step to self-actualization. It gives you the freedom and resources, like money, to further pursue your purpose and fuel your development. That's the second part of MMHQ, is personal development. In the world of entrepreneurship, this is a must. You don't have a boss telling you everything you need to do. You need to become self-sufficient. You need to master your mind, body, and spirit. We help you do all of these things through trainings, articles, step-by-step action plans to implement the advice from those, and live calls for personalized help because your situation is unique. So, if you want to steal our proven processes, strategies, and systems for becoming a sovereign individual, go to join.modernmastery.co and join today. And if you want to skip all of the do-it-yourself stuff and join an intensive 6-month program that guarantees business and personal success, we have the Mastery Program as well, and you can apply to that at join.modernmastery.co/program. And links to both of those will be in the show notes. Now, last but not least, I have a few favors to ask that cost a whopping $0. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe or follow. It's one button click away, and it truly helps support the growth of this podcast. And then you can leave a rating letting us know what you thought. You can tag us at Modern Mastery on Twitter or at Modern Mastery HQ on Instagram, or tag Joey or I with a link to this episode and some kind words. If you do all three, send us a DM and we'll have something special for you in return. So without further ado, let's dive right into this episode of the Modern Mastery Podcast. Big Papa Chad, Dakota Robertson, wrongs to right, floating hand. What's up, man?
What's up? It's actually Big Daddy Chatty. So, just a minor correction.
Big Daddy Chatty.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, I got to put in a Zen for this, so I'm laser focused.
And I got my coffee-infused sparkling cold brew coffee, yuzu citrus. We were just talking about this.
That sounds weird, man.
Yeah.
Sparkling cold brew. Taste test, how is it?
It's actually not bad. It's kind of fucking weird, but it's not bad. It's very sweet and sparkly.
Oh.
Yeah. How you doing?
All right. Nice. I'm doing good, man. What am I doing? Oh, I'm getting Joey later today. This is really the only thing that's on my docket for today is this podcast, and I need to get some other stuff recorded. I'll probably do like a solo podcast and try to get a lot of stuff done before Joey's here, just so we have some time to spend together.
Yeah.
Even though the purpose of him coming here is for kind of like masterminding and doing all that fun stuff. But we'll check out breweries. We'll go to probably coffee shop, probably the same ones we went to.
Oh, yeah.
And all that other shit. So for everyone that does not know Dakota, one, you are doing something wrong because we're like extremely similar. We're so similar to the point that Dakota came out for a music festival because we're both dubstep bros, and now we like share playlists with each other. I feel like we need to create like a free tier of MMHQ and just have like, we used to have this, but I took it away. Like a music drop place, like a general chat, and just a place where everyone that is in the similar mindset can come in and communicate without having to pay. So for those listening, if you're down for that, let me know somehow, because that'd be pretty easy to set up, and I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But Dakota came out one time, and we went to a music festival, and there are many stories within that maybe we'll get into.
We gotta keep some shit classified.
Yeah. But it came to the point, like, I knew we talked about similar shit on Twitter. We had gotten on calls before. We'd interacted a lot. We'd been good friends. And then he came out, and he was talking shit about Canada. He was like, Arizona's so cool. It's so nice. Arizona's, like, underrated, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Florida, Texas. Those are based locations to live in. But Arizona, man, it's almost perfect weather year-round if you can just get used to the heat. And I like it. Like, I'll walk around and just sweat all the fucking time because it's nice. But it's a dry heat. It's not like Florida where it's humid and it feels like 130 degrees. Like, our temperature is accurate.
Yeah.
And even in the winter, like, I can still go out and lay in the sun, so I can maintain whatever pale tan I have and continue that. So Dakota came down here. We had a good time, had some fun, and Dakota may be coming out and moving down here.
I am.
We've been talking
it's
about
not
that.
Maybe. So I'm doing it.
Okay, so you're dead serious.
Oh, yeah,
We're
I'm
making
fucking
this
100%.
like live dead decision.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because Devin and I were going apartment hunting, and a lot of the places here, like, there were no 3 bedrooms available at all, and so that we're heading out later. Both Dakota, my roommate, Joey, and I we're going to meet up with people in Tennessee, Jack and Gabe from Twitter as well, and then we're going to go to Georgia, scope that place, even though I'm sorry, Joey, I don't think I could do Georgia. And then we're going to scope downtown Greenville, South Carolina, which is where Justin lives, and check that out, and possibly even just stay in Arizona. Who the fuck knows? But either way, this is a lesson in itself that you just need to, like, start doing something on social media, even if it's not to make money. Like, you can connect with fucking crazy people, much more like-minded people than you'll meet in real life, and like, you just keep the same friends that you grew up with in high school, and you may not be the same person. You may be holding yourself back in some aspects, but I'm sure some of these topics will come up along the way in the podcast. So Dakota, first question I ask absolutely everybody: what is your life philosophy?
Ooh,
in one sentence?
I like this one. I would say self-actualize and live your life without regrets and help people along the way. I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing for me is, like, living your life to, like, the fucking fullest. It's cliche to say, but I don't know, man. Like, you think about it sometimes. You're gonna cease to exist one day, and it's just your brain cannot fucking fathom that. So it's just such a weird concept. So I always keep that floating around in my head, and it influences a lot of the decisions I make. Like with you, when we talked about how, like, I wish I could go to a fucking festival, and you're like, oh, you should come on down. It's like right away, I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Like, I'll spend some currency to go have a fucking great time. And, like, it led to this experience where we're gonna move in together, and it's just, I don't know, shit like that. Like, the decisions where you're like, fuck it, it leads to so much better decisions in life. Yeah, it's a long
100%. No, that's a good way. I've started to, I like to coin things. You know, I've coined tactical degeneracy, tactical stress. I'm coining this whole live life to its fullest thing as maximalism, right? Like, maximize the moment. There's so many different ways to put it, and I can dive into what I think about it, but how, aside from, like, the fuck it decisions, how do you live life to its fullest? Like, how can you start now? Because you have the opportunity to do that, right? You had the currency available to just fly out here, say fuck it. But for someone that's just starting out, what do you say fuck it to?
I think it would start with like finding your priorities in life. Like find what's not fulfilling you, whether that be work, your habits, your friends, and start like trimming the fat. Because I find like that's where a lot of people are lost. I don't know, they're doing shit that's like someone else assigned to them, and it leads to them just feeling like fucking shit. So I would start like, I don't know, just explore different shit. Like what I did, I didn't know what I wanted to do for the longest time, so I was just aimlessly wandering. I was just working a job I hated, 12 hours a day, doing shit I didn't like. But it wasn't until I started saying, like, I wonder what like that's like doing, like, I don't know, say writing more or trying new habits, shit like that. And like a lot of the stuff I did, it didn't stick with me, but I'm glad I tried it because I learned different things from those. And taking the things I did like and I didn't like, I was able to narrow my focus on things I did like. And I don't know, you just got to experiment with a bunch of different shit. One non-negotiable, I'd say, is start lifting fucking weights. If you don't do that already, like, you need to start lifting weights. That's going to lead to so many great things. So like energy, your confidence, that's the biggest thing for me, is confidence. Your mood, just shit like that. So if you don't know where to start by lifting weights, and that will lead to different areas in your life.
Yeah. I'll expand on that because I've been literally, this is the part of the book that I've just started writing. And the way I like to put it is, one, you have to have a base understanding of like emotions in the past and present, right? Where they stem from, how they affect you, different things in your life, and becoming more and more aware of what's holding you back, right? But at the same time, I mentioned this on Oliver's podcast that I was on. It's like you have to dive fully into whatever you're doing at any given moment, right? Like if you are in a shit position, if you are feeling terrible, you have to dive fucking into that. Like you have to feel it out, and you can't just sit in no man's land forever dealing with all of these different emotions. Like if you feel like shit, then you need to dive deep into that, feel more like shit, and gain more awareness of it and why that's affecting you. And you need to get absolutely fucking disgusted with yourself. Yeah. And that is what's going to cause that bounce back to what you want, right? You have to understand what you don't want now. And the way you understand what you don't want now is by taking the pain that you're dealing with and fucking having it become more painful, allowing it to become more painful, because you fighting that and not letting that, like you're trying to fight it and you're just sitting in the gray area, right? When you need to hit the polar end of fear in order to understand it deeply and what's causing it, and then you need to bounce back out. And for the most people, it usually starts with, I hate how I look. I hate feeling this way. I hate almost everything about me, my self-image and everything else that's been a result of going to high school and just self-comparison and feeling like shit. And then that's what sparks a lot of people's journey in the gym. And then you start to see progress and you're like, oh, okay, I can actually change this stuff. And then you end up fucking like Dakota, this jacked motherfucker with a 3-play bench going in out of nowhere. I walk into the gym. We go to the gym while he's here, right? And one, Dakota doesn't give himself enough credit on Twitter. Like, I think you mentioned when you filled out that questionnaire to me that you wanted to possibly like get into fitness coaching. I really think you should at least start posting that side of things on Twitter. Like,
I got some news to drop for you later.
Oh shit. Okay. So the thing there is, whenever I post fitness stuff on Twitter, it does extremely well. And that's like the authenticity side of things of my brand, because that's not my full focus right now. But the thing with all of this is that it's all within your control, right? It's all in your control, and we can dive deeper into this. But in terms of that life philosophy, in terms of what got you into the gym, what sparked that? Why did you get in the gym in the first place?
Yeah, so it's exactly what you said, having that negative experience. So I grew up pretty chubby. My family wasn't the most health conscious, like they weren't obese or super fat or anything, but there was Oreos lying around and just like shit food, and I wasn't taught, I don't know, proper nutrition and stuff like that. And I was always active in sports like jiu-jitsu, dance class. I was forced into that for many years, but shit like that. But I never, I don't know, because I ate like shit, I was still pretty fat. And just like my whole life, I remember just getting like shitty remarks. Like, I remember I was in class one day in like grade 8, or probably more like grade 6, but the teacher was talking, and then there's like one of those natural pauses. But like there's like a guy in the back of the class who's talking shit about me, and like I overheard like the end of the conversation, like, Dakota, that fat kid. Everyone heard it in class, man, and it was so embarrassing just to be like known as the fat kid, you know, like fuck, you feel pretty worthless at that point, especially because a lot of your self-worth when you're younger is determined by your peers, because you just haven't developed that confidence in yourself and stuff like that. So just shit like that. I've been called a chubby chunker and like shit, man. Like it fucking hurt. And it got to a point where I was pretty sick of it. And I remember I was like, fuck it. And I remember I'd wake up at like 5 a.m. and I would go to the YMCA with my stepdad, and I would go to these TRX classes. And for those of you that don't know what TRX is, it's like ropes with handles. And it was a group fitness class. And I would go to these like almost every day before school. And I would work my ass off because I had that negative experience. And I'm fucking sick of this. Like I did not like who I was. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like the confidence I had, because I had none. And I would just harness that energy and put that into my workouts. And there was days where I'd work out until I threw up. Like I would have to run to the bathroom and throw up. But I fucking loved it because I knew I was making progress in the right direction. And every time I worked out, like I was heading in a different direction. Like I was choosing a new identity. And I remember the first time I saw progress, I remember it was like the I don't know, like the V or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, and I was blown away. I stared in the mirror for like 20 minutes. I don't care if that sounds douchey as fuck. I was amazed because like you can put in hours upon hours of consistent work into this one craft, and you can see results if you do it smart. And it's just one of those lessons you can say, but you don't understand it until you actually experience it. And seeing that change, that physical change in my body, that's when I just internalized that, and I got addicted. And then I just ran with it. So I just kept doing those classes, eventually switched to weightlifting with my brother, and just stayed consistent with it. And I kept seeing results, and I kept getting more addicted, and then eventually kind of like took over my life. And I got super passionate about it because it wasn't just the physical aspects of things. It was, again, the mental, the confidence, the emotional stuff. And I don't know, it's something I wish everyone got to experience because it's had such a meaningful impact in my life. And yeah, I forget what the question was, but that's my answer.
No. That's it, dude. And yeah. I've said this before, where I wrote a tweet on this a while ago, and I think it went like unnoticed or underrated. And it was like, if you're truly fed up with the situation you're in, it takes one day to form a new habit, because that's really what it is. Like if you hit that breaking point, or you just make that realization, someone calls you a fat kid in class and you overhear it and you're like, this is what people think of me. Like I've had it wrong this entire time. And it makes you brutally aware of like what is going on in your life. And that's the change. Like you've never been the same since then, right? Because it fucking hurts. It hurt really bad, and it's like, I don't want to feel this way again. And you're aware of that pain, and then you work to overcome it. And my question there is, I remember you saying when you were here a few times, because we did have some junk food. We ordered fucking 12 cookies one night after the show. That's a funny story. I'll explain this story really quick so we can lead up to this. But we get back from this show, right? And we're talking about an EDM festival, right? We were having a good time. We were practicing some tactical degeneracy. And Man, a lot fucking happened those nights. But we got back, and it's like 4 or 5 a.m., right? And we're not going to bed. We're not going to bed by any means. If so, it's like an hour. And we're hungry, of course. So we've been talking about this place called Dirty Dough, which are these huge cookies, like 2 inches tall and like 4 inches wide. Huge, right? And we're telling Dakota about them and how like they're the best cookies on earth, but we can rarely eat them because it's just not a part of our diet. And so this night, Dakota's like, all right, I'm going to order some Dirty Dough and we're going to have a good time. And so we're like, okay. And he orders it. He asks for the address. He gets it all ordered. And I forget how this came up, but he's like, yeah, I ordered 12 cookies. And these cookies are huge, man. Like, they are absolutely humongous. So Devin and I are freaking out. I am too. Like, that's when it hits me like, okay, this is gonna screw up my progress if I can't control myself here. And the cookies end up getting delivered to a different address. We opened the door and they weren't fucking there. So we thought someone stole it. So we started sprinting around the apartment complex, all of us splitting up into different buildings trying to find this dude who stole the cookies. And it turns out Dakota put in the wrong fucking address and it got delivered to another door. But we found it. We got the cookies and we ate them and it was great. But one thing you said stuck out to me where it's like I'm going to have to battle this inner chubby kid. Does that come up frequently? Is that like a dark archetype that you hold within yourself where it's like you can refer back to that when you're fucking up? Or potentially fucking up?
Yeah, like I've struggled with binge eating my whole life. Even when I got jacked, that's been, I don't know, it's like I don't know if it's an emotional thing or what. Like, I do have a tendency to really fucking eat shit if I eat shit. Like, it's bad. Like, I talk about it like, oh, I'm like a fucking crack addict when it comes to food, because if I have like one cookie, it's like, okay, I'm gonna eat like 10. And like I think I ate majority of those cookies. I think you guys had 2 or something. I ate the rest because I had
a few.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, I still have that inner fat kid in me, and it's a battle like every day. Like, I gotta make sure I'm on point with my habits. I'm on point with what I eat, stuff like that. And it's also something I use, like that inner fat kid. I think about it often. Like, the days I don't feel like going to work out, I think about back to those times where I was called a Chubby Chunker or Dakota, that fat kid. And I use that, like I used it back in the day to fuel my workouts and shit like that. So yeah, there's good and bad to it. It's something I've definitely gotten a lot better with. There are times where I slip up and eat shit, but I forgive myself for it. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine. You just had a shit day and you just messed up. Just reset and restart tomorrow. Because before, I would really hate on myself for like, dude, you like ate shit. Like, what the fuck? And I would feel bad about myself. And then that would trigger me to seek comfort. And then it would restart the cycle where I would go eat more shit food. And it would just spiral out of control. Like, I got up to 220 pounds one time, and I'm 5'8". Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So it can definitely easily spiral out of control. But no, I got a good handle on it nowadays.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I love that. And how did you get that handle on things? Because now, like me being with you, like, I know you on a deeper level just because I've been around you. Like, I know you, right? Yeah. So it sounds like you're coming from a place of like former insecurity and lack of confidence. How did you start building those things, right? I know you speak on social anxiety too, but what was the start of all of that?
It was again like relating it to negative experiences. So I knew what it felt like to be a loser and to be socially anxious, and to have those opportunities where you wanted to do something, like you wanted to ask that girl out, or you wanted to say something in class, and you didn't, and then immediately after you feel regret. You're like, shit, like I should have done that. And over time you do that enough, and you look at the two options. You're like, okay, so like I could go and ask that girl out. Maybe she says no, and then I'm back at square one, opposed to you don't do anything. Well, then it's 100%, it's a no, and then you just feel like shit. So you're guaranteed to feel like shit one way, and then the other way, you're like, well, what if they say yes? So I think it was more of like a gradual process for me. Reframing things was the biggest thing, like that. But also the habits. Like I started implementing habits consistently. So meditation, journaling has been fucking huge. Since 2018, I've been journaling. I have 3 full books filled with my thoughts and stuff. And to dive deeper into journaling, you're forcing yourself to think through problems. So if you're feeling anxious towards a situation, well, if you have pen and paper and you write it out, you can see how ridiculous you're being most of the time. And I think that's something that's lost on a lot of people today, is the art of thinking. Like, just to think through a problem, whether that take 10 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, it's something that's very beneficial. It's something that's ignored because we have the 30-second TikToks, the 10-second tweets, whatever. We're so accustomed to not thinking through problems. And I think journaling is a great remedy for that. So that's something that really helped me. Taking action on things. So again, saying fuck it and accepting that you'll screw up along the way. So I've had times where I've cold approached women and I just like sounded like an idiot, but it's like, you know what? I did it. You know, that takes balls to go up to a woman and just say, hey, I think you're cute. Can I get your number? And so like, you find the little wins in the stuff. Even if you get rejected, you're like, you know what? I had the balls to go do that. And then that builds up your confidence. Instead of framing it in a way, oh, I gotta know, like, shit, I'm a loser. It's like, no, you frame it like, no, I got up and I asked her out, and that's a small win. And you just tuck that in your pocket and you slowly build yourself up. And that's the biggest thing, is getting those small wins and reframing things in a way that's positive.
Yes. I want to talk about journaling a bit, but I also want Dakota's step-by-step framework to approaching women at a coffee shop, because we're all about that coffee shop nationalism and getting our work done. We need to make that a thing, coffee shop nationalism. Yeah. But how do you do this? Because like, it doesn't really come to my mind, and then these like cute girls walk in and out. I'm good at it like in a non-enclosed environment, right? I like this. I'll drop this mentality on you because I really enjoy it and it really helps. And this helps with anything at any area of life, right? Reframing from intimidation to interest, right? Because you perceive everyone as intimidating, especially those above you, whether it be that influencer on social media or the fucking president or just a pretty girl you see. And you start to form this idea in your mind of who they actually are, and you're making assumptions, and it doesn't make sense. So if you come from the point of like, oh, this person looks interesting instead of intimidating, then you're more inclined to just get to know them, right? You're just inclined to approach them, say something, whatever the fuck it is, hi, and try to, it's all about curiosity too. We talk about curiosity a lot, and actually pursuing that. It's the same thing, being endlessly curious. And if you're interested in being interested in someone and getting to know them, it's really as simple as that. You just walk up and let the conversation go, and there's more soft skills and communication skills within that. But that's a good reframe just to like get there, take that first step, right? But at a coffee shop, what's your process? Because I've heard a few times where you're like, got this girl's number at the coffee shop, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Before diving into that, I just want to say, for those of you listening, Dan is a fucking magnet when it comes to women. We're literally at this EDM fest. He's just standing. He's literally just fucking standing there, and this like blonde chick comes out of nowhere and just like starts like fucking, I don't know. She's like all over him, and then the same thing happens the next day. And me and Devin are just like standing like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what is this wizardry? So you attract, and I don't know. You got that magnetic energy to you. So props to you on that. Energy. But when it comes to the coffee shop, every time I've done it, it's not smooth at all. It's just, okay, that girl's cute. And I'll work it up in my head. And then like, okay, shut the fuck up. Stop overthinking it. And then there comes a point where you're just like, you got to switch your brain off. And then you're approaching them. And your brain's not even like fathoming what's happening. You just like, you just got to let your body do the work. You walk up to them. And then like, they see you're walking up to them. And at that point, you can't pussy out. You look like a weirdo. And then every time I've done it, it's just been super direct. Like, hey, I think you're really cute, and I just want to know if I could grab your number. And that's literally every time I've done it, and it's worked every time. There have been times outside of coffee shops that it has not worked, but that's different. But yeah, it's just super direct. Like, you can definitely be smoother than me. But I think if you just go up and you're just direct and you dress well and you look like you take care of yourself, I think that'll get you 90% of the way there. And then just not acting like a fucking idiot is the rest of it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel that, man.
What's your process, whether it's a coffee shop or not?
No, that's usually it. It's like I usually have like I just walk up and say, hey, what's your name? And then they're usually like taken aback, right?
Yeah.
Every time, like no matter what, they're just like, oh, it's Kelly. It's like, hey Kelly, I'm Dan. I just wanted to like come up, say you're cute, ask for your number. As simple as that. And it's like, point. Yeah, it's very simple, and I'm sure there are better ways to go about it, but then that sparks the problem of just overthinking it and trying to do all these pickup artists like stupid shit.
Yeah.
When the people you don't want, that's the thing. That's why I like coffee shops so much, is because you're in an environment where you're gonna find people that are at least somewhat like-minded, right? Like early morning coffee shop on a weekday, you're not gonna have any like hungover bitches coming in there and like knocking out some work. Maybe, but it's the whole sales process, like sales and women and or just dating in general. It's all the same, right? You have to know your ideal customer or the ideal person you would want to date, and you have to reverse engineer where you're going to find them. Yeah. So for me, that could be a coffee shop. I just like going to a coffee shop either way, so I'm in my element. But it's like you're probably not going to find these people at a bar unless that's what you want. You probably aren't going to find them in many different places, and you have to find out, okay, where do these people actually hang out? And there's a lot of places, and a lot of places online too. I feel like the landscape of online dating is like completely wasted, or at least misunderstood, because of dating apps. And it's like, yeah, you can possibly find someone on a dating app, but at the same time, it's like, dude, me and you, we're in the middle of it, man. Like, if we reached out to anyone on Twitter, we would probably score something. They may be across the country, but still, like, we have a wide opportunities, whether it be business, health, wealth, or relationships. Like, it's all there. So we're in a good
Twitter
spot.
micro-influencer.
Yes. Like, hey, just wanted to... Hey, glad to meet you. I'm a Twitter micro-influencer. Can I please get your number?
Works every time.
It works. I haven't really tried. I don't know. But that brings us back to writing and journaling, because Joey and I, and like a lot of people in MMHQ, they like brain dump journaling, where it's just you write out all of your thoughts, right? And you start thinking through them physically. You're kind of forcing yourself, like, okay, take this thought out of my head, and then you read that thought and you're like, oh, like, here's a question about that thought. And it's like, it's physical, I guess, metacognition, where you're thinking about your thoughts and just realizing that they're irrational eventually, and then they dissolve. So with journaling, it's very powerful. It's a very powerful thing to do. Is that what sparked you to start writing a lot?
Yeah, so I remember literally in grade 1, we were given an assignment to, I don't know, write some stories and stuff. And I remember I literally stayed until the end of class, and I was just kept writing, because I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed stories and stuff like that. So early on, like I really liked writing, but I didn't pursue it like outside of school. I had a poem submitted or something in school to some competition. I got like 3rd place, won like $10. Pretty stoked on that.
Let's fucking go.
But yeah, English.
Did you put that in index funds?
Dude, I would be a millionaire in like a week.
You'd be a millionaire.
Crazy. Even if I didn't.
You should have bought fucking Bitcoin.
Yeah. But all my writing has been for school and stuff like that, and that's just something I've naturally been better at than most things. And yeah, I guess outside of school, journaling would have been my first pursuit in that endeavor. And yeah, after that, it was pretty much Twitter. I didn't write for anything else. I knew writing was an important skill, but I didn't realize how important until Twitter, really, and learning about marketing and copywriting and how words are literally everywhere. Like the new world is online, and you can't go anywhere without seeing copy or advertising or just people's thoughts. So I think it's like one of the number one skills you can learn. And yeah, once I was on social media, I started to realize the power of it, and I started to double down on it. I'm like, okay, so I'm naturally kind of decent at this. Like, might as well start applying myself more and like learning the psychological principles behind stuff and applying it to my writing. And yeah, so I didn't really have any crazy pursuits outside of school or Twitter.
Yeah. What's the main thing that's come from writing for you?
I think clarity of thought. I refer to it as active meditation.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, because you're forced, like say you sit down to write a tweet, you're forced to cut your thoughts down into 280 characters. And to do that, you got to cut out all the fluff. And there's benefits to long writing. Like, I think everyone should write long form. But there's something about tweets as well where you have one idea and you're forced to whittle it down to one small tweet. And I think that does a huge amount for filtering out bullshit and looking at information in different ways going forward. Because it programs you when you write tweets every day. It programs you to cut the fluff, cut the excess. And I think it programs you to cut the fluff, cut the excess. And I think it's very beneficial for your mental state, simplicity. And I think that's where I'm a big fan of minimalism, and where you can see a majority of your results. So say your nutrition or other habits, I think it's very beneficial. So it's not just about writing words. It's about kind of like a philosophy. It sounds kind of pretentious, but it's true.
No, I completely get it, because I think that writing is like the vessel for every other good thing, right? Because if you're going to monetize something, you need, like, words are the way that you sell it. Words are the way you persuade and influence. You may not be selling writing services or a writing product, but writing is how you sell those things, and understanding how to write well, because you can't just learn to write. You have to understand human behavior. You have to understand psychology. You have to understand how they read. You have to understand what pushes them through the writing. You have to understand hooks. You have to understand call to actions, et cetera, et cetera. And one thing you said there that stuck out to me, and this is kind of completely off the writing topic, but minimalism, right? Because I talked about maximalism and you said minimalism. I'm like, hold on. And now I'm thinking it's like minimalism in material, because I think we could dive into this all. I'm writing about it, but like minimalism in material, so you can achieve maximalism of thought. Like that's how you, I don't know. There's probably something there. I might explore that a bit more. But it's a tweet. I don't think it'll do very well. It's a tweet.
No, it makes sense though. It's because you're.
I completely.
When you're not diverting resources, when you're not allocating resources to all these different things, you can just allocate all your resources to the things that matter. If that makes sense, you know?
Which is often immaterial.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Second A.
That's going somewhere in the book. But in terms of writing, it's a good thing. It's good to learn to write. You have to learn to write, and that also translates to speaking, right? Speaking is words as well, and you need to, like, writing just helps you understand how to speak better, and you can train both. Very good thing to do. So in terms of writing, and we understand that we need to write preferably consistently, possibly every day, and just getting in the habit, even if you don't have direction, because it's just a good skill to have. Just start writing about whatever the fuck you want. With that said, in order to create some form of business for yourself or some form of income for yourself, you have to write in a way that is going to sell something in the future or right now if you have a product. And with that begs the question of, okay, how do you write? What is Dakota Robertson's workflow?
I batch my work. So I have a routine usually too. So if I know I have to get some writing done for different things, I'll batch it to its category. So if I have to write platitudes, I'm going to batch all that together. So like I'll just be in the platitude kind of mind. I'll be like writing whatever. And then if I have to write copy, well, that's what I'm allocating all my time to that. Like I'm just getting in the zone for that. And then if I have to write authority tweets, like just like actionable advice, then I'm doing that. And I think that's a big thing because the context switching stuff is very real. Because if you're switching from platitudes to copy to authority tweets, like you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be spending energy, mental energy, switching these modes. So that's a big thing. I do have a ritual where I'll go to coffee shops like every day and I'll sit down, I'll have my coffee, might read a book to get my ideas flowing, and then I'll just allocate all that time to writing. So I will shut off like Twitter. I won't have the tabs open. I'll put my phone on do not disturb, and that's my time. I'll set like 4 hours and I'll just do that one task and just batch it all together. So that's something that's really helped me, is just batching. And then also a big thing, it's not like a habit or anything, but before you learn to write, you should learn about psychology, because like you said, it's people on the other end. So by learning about bias and how people function, stuff like that, your writing's going to be exponentially better, because at the end of the day, someone else is reading, a person is reading what you're writing. So I think that's very important. And I think that's something a lot of people neglect. They're like, oh, I'm just going to write about whatever I feel like. And like, that's great if you're journaling and stuff. But if you're writing to try to make people take a certain action, well, you have to understand psychology, because writing is just the medium. It's just a different form of communication, just like speaking. It's just one's a different medium than the other, and you just got to realize there's a person on the other end, and understanding psychology is going to help you in so many ways, not just writing, but again, speaking. It's going to help you understand your own psychology, and it's going to be something you can implement everywhere. So that was a big thing, I think, that helped me early on, was because I was fat. It kind of ties in. I would read books on psychology and body language and cognitive bias, And later on, it tied into my writing, and it really helped me a lot because I was able to kind of see what worked and what didn't. Like, okay, so like if I implement this bias into my writing, like it gets this certain effect sometimes, and it's not 100%, but it definitely helps. So I don't know, finding a ritual, batching your work, and studying psychology is all really important if you want to learn how to write, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So for those blocks, do you have a specific method for getting into deep work per se? Or how do you focus?
That's my favorite. So I go to a coffee shop because no distractions. I am not going to go to the fridge to get food or procrastinate. I only bring the essentials, my laptop, whatever. I put in my AirPods, noise canceling, fucking great investment, highly recommend. And then I put on instrumental music, and I can't do words.
No dubstep?
Okay, I do dubstep now. I do dubstep. I do dubstep as well. I mix it though. But yeah, I do the movie scores. So like Hans Zimmer. I've been listening to Trent Reznor with like the Social Network soundtrack and shit like that. I put that on, and that stuff just gets my brain kind of into a flow. And yeah, I just start writing. Like I don't. Like it could be, I just accept that a lot of it's just gonna be dog shit in the beginning, but I just write anyways, and that's what like gets the momentum going. You're just like, okay, like because you're not trying to be perfect from the get go, because that's gonna be paralysis analysis, and you're just gonna fuck yourself over. So you just give yourself permission to write bad, and you just keep writing, and then you'll get some gold nuggets along the way. And yeah, it's pretty simple for me. Like those are pretty much like the 3 steps. Oh, and fasting. Fasting helps me. I perform better when I'm fasted in the morning and I have my black coffee. That's just a personal thing for me. And doing it right in the morning too. I used to work out in the mornings, but I find I work better when I just get shit done right away. I just get the bang off the tasks. If I need to do writing, just do it right away, where there's no outside input coming into my brain. Is just wake up, do my routine, get to work, and bam, good to go. What about you?
Yeah, I did the same thing. I've recently switched after a few podcasts with health bros talking about like stimulants on an empty stomach having some form of stress response, and I'm sure it's not as big a deal as it's made to seem. But at the same time, like I eat a very light I eat a very light breakfast now. My breakfast now, it was like 3 eggs and that's it, just to have something in there, non-carby, something that won't like fog my brain, just like clean burning fuel, and then it'll help with the distribution of caffeine or however the fuck that works. And now it's an ounce of raw liver and some shrimp. I eat the weirdest
fucking nasty,
man.
Dude.
Like people, well, that's what people think. Like I don't care anymore. Like everything I eat, sure, like I try to make it taste good, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't really fucking care. If I want insanely good food, I'm gonna go to a restaurant and it's gonna taste 10 times better because I'm not eating that food all the time, right? And so another thing is like I start the day doing something. I want to do it, but at the same time, it's like uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I'm putting this raw shit in my mouth and like just munching down on it. But dude, I've loved raw liver so far. My energy levels, like they were already through the roof. They're even more through the roof right now. And especially after 2 ounces of that, it's not bad. It does not taste bad. Some beef liver. Okay. I'm eating beef liver. People say like, I don't know the safety of like raw chicken liver. But someone on Instagram today, we've been doing it like daily Instagram videos on our story, like me and this other guy, Free the Frame, and we just eat it, and that's really it. And someone else joined in today, and I think he said it's like karu liver, and I think it's kangaroo. Like I think he's eating kangaroo liver in Australia.
Oh shit!
So
I'd try that.
Shout out that dude. Yeah. I think his name's like Dave _Birch. Maybe wrong or right, but. Maybe wrong's too right, but
I'm gonna try it now. I've heard great things about liver. I haven't had the balls.
It makes you feel so good. Like even the first time, like you feel kind of high. You feel like you like radiating. But towards the end of the day, especially after I bumped it up to 2 ounces, I'm ready to fucking go at all times, and it's great.
Do you get it at like a Whole Foods?
Maybe that's placebo.
Or do you go to like regular?
Yeah, at Whole Foods, so I went to Whole Foods and decided just to ask like the butcher there, like, hey, do you guys have raw liver or just liver? And he's like, well, we normally don't have it out here. We have it in the frozen section. And so I'm like, okay, not extremely fresh. I don't know if it is or not, but it's like you can probably ask them and they can point it to you. And it's like 1.5 pounds of just raw liver for a decent price too. I was surprised it's less than the cost of like grass-fed ground beef. And so then what you do from there is I took it home. I watched some YouTube videos, and turned out a good way to do it was to let it thaw for like an hour. Like not fully thawed by any means, but then you take like the slabs of it out and you chop it into like cubes. And then in the morning what I do is I'll like pop a few frozen cubes out of there, because then you put it back in and you freeze it. I'll pop a few frozen cubes out, and I will put it in a baggie. I'll put it in water to thaw, and then I'll go on my walk, and by the time I'm back, it's liver and it's already thawed. And so then if you want to weigh it or don't want to weigh it, I put it on there, weigh it, make sure it's at least close to an ounce, and then you can kind of like guess like, okay, my cubes are this big and I need this many cubes for an ounce, and then I just eat those. And then I've been putting like more cubes in my enlightenment elixir smoothie, and it doesn't really change the taste, so it's an easy way to go about it.
I'm gonna try that.
But yeah, there's a bunch of different things. Yeah, put it in your smoothies. It works. But in terms of all this nutrition, health stuff that we're talking about so far, and writing, I want to dive deeper into your fitness journey, or at least like your fitness outlook right now, because this is something you seem very hyped and passionate, and something you want to pursue further. So how does fitness play a fucking role in all of this? Why is fitness important to you?
Because it is embodying everything you do. So you think about it, like your mental, like your brain is literally part of your body. So it needs good input, whether that be nutrition, exercise, shit like that. Like you're not functioning at 100% if you're not lifting weights or exercising and you're not eating well. And it just blows my mind that you got all these smart dudes, like nerds and shit, and they're not doing this stuff. They're not lifting weights. They're not exercising.
Imagine if they did.
That's what I'm saying.
Superhuman.
Dude, I got a tweet about that. I just wrote it this morning. But yeah, it just blows my mind. And then when you look good, you're going to internalize that. You're like looking at me like, I look fucking good. And then you just got that confidence, that big dick energy. And it's going to be embodied in everything you do. Like on Twitter, you just got that. You can tell the people that got the big dick energy, man. You're just like, they don't give a fuck. They're just like, oh, lift fucking weights and like do all this stuff. And it just shows in their personality because they got that confidence. And it makes them that much more likable because they're not afraid to be who they are. They're just them. And it has this feedback loop where it just, I don't know, it just spirals up. And it's just something that everyone should do. And I wish everyone got to experience the benefits because it's addicting once you do. And yeah, the big thing is the confidence. And it just shows in how you write. And because people can sense your energy through writing. I don't know how, but people do. Like it's weird. So yeah, that's basically all I gotta say about that.
Yeah. What is there a shift coming in your brand? I can feel it
dude. Coming. Yeah, dude. I talked to David. Shout out to David Mendez. I talked to him. I told him about what I was doing with all the writing stuff, and kind of pulled me aside. He's like, "Dude, the fuck are you doing?" Like, he made me realize. Okay, I have 11 years experience with lifting alone, even more with sports and shit like that. So I've been active my whole life. So I have all this leverage in this one area. I'm super fucking passionate about it, and it's very meaningful to me. And here I am pursuing writing, where I have like much less leverage. I'm more or less like starting out compared to these other people that have all this leverage, and writing is less meaningful to me, opposed to fitness. And he just made me realize, like, why am I not doing fitness? Like, I should be doing fitness. I'm good at it. I'm passionate about it. I have this leverage. So, yeah, David, he told me what I needed to hear. Like, having that outside perspective really just, it made me realize, yeah, okay, I need to be pursuing fitness. So I got 5 clients. They're paying clients already. I'm going to bootstrap this shit. So I'm going to take all their inputs, all the data and shit, make personalized plans, give them crazy fucking results because I know exactly what to do because I have all this experience. And then, yeah, I'm going to start creating my offer based off that information. I'll systemize shit as I go along. But yeah, it's just really quick and dirty. Like, I'm just making it up as I go, like these fitness plans, finding what works, what doesn't. And yeah, so I'm starting to go into the fitness stuff, and it's going to be a weird transition because I've built up 11,000 people following me for writing. So I don't know how to transition it exactly to fitness, but I'm going to do it because I don't give a fuck. I got the kind of like a personal brand, so I have more leverage or more leeway. But yeah, man, I'm super excited because I want to make the changes in other people that I was able to make in myself. And that's something that really excites me. And that's something I could do all day long. Opposed to writing, like, I do like writing and it's something I'm decent at, but it's not a long-term play for me. It's good to have, and it's something I enjoy, but it's not something I'm like super passionate about. And it's like that Naval thing, like the work compared to play or whatever the fuck he says. Like when work feels like play, people can't compete with you. Something along that line. So it's just having that outside perspective, and David calling me on my shit. It was really helpful. I'm super thankful for him for doing that. So yeah, I'm excited to start this new journey. I'm starting to write fitness tweets. I was batching them all together this morning, and yeah, so I'm going to gradually make the transition with the Twitter. I reserved the name Wrongs to Right with the actual RIGHT. So I got the username, I got the domain. I'll just switch my brand to that. That way it's not a 180 degree shift. Yeah. Interesting. I dig it. Yeah. And shout out Poppy Dave. Yeah. We have another podcast if you want to listen to it with him. He's at SelfActualize. Big shout out. He's a great dude, and he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. So for that fitness shit, I love it. And I had that same realization, right? And maybe you can take something from this because, like, Modern Mastery, it has nothing to do with the shit I started out with. And it's like, how do I incorporate all of this into one? Because it's like, I want to get into fitness. And that will slowly become more of a focus for me, specifically in MMHQ. Like that and spirituality. I'm so fucking passionate about spirituality and fitness. But the business thing, it has to come first, right? Because I feel like just having a project to work on related to your interest is extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful. And if you can just pursue something full force for a year, if done right, and if you're in MMHQ, then you'll have a stable income, like, in order to pursue the things that you want fully, and you can make whatever transitions you want. That is the extreme beauty of a personal brand, and why we are so fortunate. And man, I'm fucking stoked on the future because one, think of this. This is huge tangent right here. But I read Danny Miranda's tweet the other day where it was like, our kids are going to be wondering why we only got paid in likes. Right. And he's been on a huge NFT game recently. And I know that Twitter is coming out with some feature where you can show that the NFT is yours, like it's a seal on your profile picture through Twitter. And you can even display your portfolio of them. And I know that Jack Dorsey, like, minted and sold the very first tweet. Right. And so my mind
is going to, okay, Twitter may be the first one to do this, but content may be like able to be bought from the timeline. Like if you just let out a fucking banger of a tweet and it's like, I don't know the ins and outs of this, but if it's like minted there or it's able to be minted or something, and you go through a specific process, someone could buy your tweet right fucking there. And that's like a display of authority in some sense for them. But like that's even more reason to get into this game. I feel like personal brands are the future because the world is going personal and there's more than enough room for people to do it, especially people listening to this because they're curious and they have some form of growth mindset. It's like, why put it off? Just start fucking doing it, because you can transition at any point. Like people know that you're into fitness to some extent. And even if you aren't, they are somewhat health conscious because they are into this entire growth mindset game. That's like Modern Mastery as a whole. Like if you are interested in business and you don't have an interest in health, there's something fucking wrong there, and I'm going to convert you. And most of the time you're going to have an interest in health, or you're going to have an interest or like some form of curiosity relating to spirituality or all of these other things that are under the self-improvement umbrella. So it doesn't really matter like how you transition. I just think it'll be a really good thing if you do, because one, dude, you are fucking jacked out of your mind. Like you're huge, and nobody on Twitter's seen that. Like you need to come up with some reveal where it's just like, holy shit, this dude's jacked. And it's like, I was thinking while you're here, it's like if you shredded down, like, and this is hypothetical, I wouldn't do this if I were you, but if you shredded down to like stage ready level, you'd probably win a fucking, like your first competition.
Dude, I was gonna say,
oh god,
we should fucking enter one, because I don't have the balls to do it alone. Like that'd be dope, man. Like just like fucking, I don't know. It would be something fun to do, just to see if you can, you know, like not knowing what the fuck we're doing.
Well shit, we'll be together. Stage. Okay, so that'll have to be in some form of like a future thing, because I'm all over the place right now. Like I have to hit this goal of like 185 or something. So I know I'm losing muscle. I'm going to lose a lot of muscle getting down to that. But then once I can sustain that and do like possibly like a 10-pound super dedicated like year-long bulk, then I could probably enter and maybe win something in the 185 category. But I'm just I'm so tall that like I'd be entered in a weight class with these fucking killers.
It's harder.
Potentially. It'd be fun. I'm down for it. But at the same time, I think you absolutely kill it. I'll do it just so you can fucking do it, and I can get some good like photo shoot pictures for social media. But
yeah, well, I told David, I'm like, if I'm not 190 or below by November 30th, and I don't send you a video of me on the scale, I'll send you $700. So I'm gonna get Dude, I'm going to get absolutely fucking mind-boggling shredded. And then, all right, this is the plan. This is the game plan. Dropping free game. I'm going to get mind-boggling shredded. And then I'll get the picture. I'll get the nice DSLR camera. I'll get my buddy to take a picture or whatever. And then I'm going to do a story thread, how I went from fat
Dude,
kid. I'll have the photo
good.
of me being fat to like mind-boggling shredded. And I'll do the story. And then... yeah, then I'll post that on my Twitter and shit, and then people are like, oh shit, like this guy's actually fucking jacked, not just a floating hand. And then from there it's easy street, because you have that social proof. Like I don't post pictures of me flexing or shit like that.
Yeah, and
so that would be good to have.
That's something to overcome, man. So like something I am having to overcome too, because I want to, like, I need to spread the message of fitness more myself, because I'm also passionate about it. And I've come to learn a lot of things. One, how Twitter and other things are not real life. And even if influencers are positioning themselves or like displaying some form of like, oh, they're taking pictures under good lighting, and people get like really angry about that. And it's like Greg O'Gallagher. I was watching a video the other day, and like Greg O'Gallagher on social media is very polarizing. He kind of puts himself off as a douche, but then you get to see him in real life and he's grounded. He's extremely well grounded and just a good dude overall. So it's kind of like everyone on social media is playing a game, and I truly think that authenticity on social media is complete bullshit. Like it's you're catering your message to help the most people. That's how you're going to get, 1, the most sales, 2, the most authority, 3, et cetera, et cetera. And for people that are like consuming this stuff, getting wrapped up in whether or not a person is like being fully authentic or who they are in real life, I think that's aside from the point and shouldn't be focused on at all. I think it's just a waste of your mental energy. But the message that they're putting it across and the way they are putting it across is very, very, very calculated. It's very calculated in getting you to pursue something more. And yes, there are scammers out there, and this takes critical thinking and judgment and looking at testimonials, et cetera, et cetera. But someone, Ty Lopez, for example, he's a fucking genius, man. And I guarantee if you were to meet him on the street and talk to him, he'd be a normal, possibly great guy. But on like his ads, he's very polarizing. And I think he put out a tweet. He's like, if me posting a picture of a Lamborghini gets you to build a business and quit your job, I've done my job. And I don't care if he didn't say this, but I don't care if like I posted a Lamborghini. Like, he understands human behavior and psychology, and if that's the thing that hooks them in so he can like set them on this path to whatever, that's what he's got to do, right? Because everyone is, for example, like my book and my content, it's a lot of it is from, it's like me, my past self talking to my past self, even before that. Because it's like, I can't give people the information I have right now because it will mean nothing. It'll mean nothing at all, right? As a young kid, I was interested in Lamborghinis and sexy fucking women, and that would have caught my attention, right? And I would have pulled my younger self out of there and helped them do something better. And then it's up to you whether or not the fucking Lamborghinis or like sexy women are important to you, right? So that's kind of a tangent, but that's what goes through my mind is like, okay, everyone is saying that there's all these social media influencers that are under good lighting and they're not natty and they're this, that, and the other. So it's like, should I, like, what's the purpose of me posting a shirtless picture when, like, is it narcissism? Is it me just trying to get likes? And no, internally it's not. It's me trying to spread a good message and like show what I've done through my experience. So that's a whole lesson in itself on confidence and not giving a fuck what people think and just doing it either way. So that'll be fun. Yeah. And it'll be sick when we're living together because, I mean, there's crossover there. It's going to be fun as fuck.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, yeah. The Twitter house. We got a reality TV show going.
That'll be fun. But in terms... Okay, so this is a good way to take this. There's all these misconceptions of like, okay, Dan is just hyper disciplined. Oh, he doesn't take any days off. And I try to be transparent about this and all this other stuff. Or David Goggins is probably super disciplined. But all these people on social media, oh, they're so perfect. They're doing these great things. Like I feel bad about myself for watching fucking Netflix. So in your eyes, where's the misconception there? Is Netflix a demon that should be avoided? Fuck.
God, yes, yeah. You're going to hell if you watch Netflix. No, I think there's a place for it. Absolutely. Like, as long as you prioritize stuff above it. So if you're just watching Netflix and you see these people like go put in 4 hours of deep work every day, and you feel like shit for seeing that, yeah, you probably should feel like shit because you're just watching Netflix all day. But say you get your shit done, you know, you work and you work on your projects and you're making progress in the right direction, you go to the gym, stuff like that, and you just want to wind down and watch Netflix at the end of the day, fuck yeah, do that, man. Because these people that are like, oh, hustle 24/7, or like, you need to skip sleep if you want to be successful. That's all bullshit, man. That's just, again, that's the marketing. That's the polarization shit. It sounds sexy, but in application, it's not practical. Like I put in my 4 hours of deep work every day. I lift every day or some form of exercise. And if I check those two off, it's like, okay, I'm good. Everything else is just extra. Like I've made my progress today, and if I want to do more, great. But if I want to relax, Fuck yeah, because that's sustainable. You need to find something you can do for your whole life. And if you're just grinding every day for 1 month out of 12 months, well, that's not sustainable. You're better off doing 4 hours of work every day, 1 hour lifting, and do that every day. You're going to make so much more progress than this just sprint, stop. You're better off just like slowly making progress in the right direction. So yes, there's definitely a place for video games. There's a place for Netflix, shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement. For me, it's a bit more than like the work and the lifting. I've realized that learning is so crucial to the working. Like just learning stuff and listening. I've been on a audiobook and like YouTube lecture Binge recently, where it's like I'll listen to those on my walk because I think it's truly important to fill your brain with good information, especially if you are filling your brain with iffy information during the night, like just like fiction. You know, there's a place for fiction. I think it's actually a very good thing to do that when you're winding down for the night. We can talk about blue light. There's a lot of different things that you can go into there, but like from a overall point of view, no, I don't see a point in avoiding things like Netflix or even other things like alcohol, but that may be my experience level. I've come to realizations recently where it's like, yeah, these people like have hit a point where they can't do what they have to do if alcohol is an option for them. And so it's like, okay, yeah, cut it out. But then this brings up the question of awareness. Like, are you aware of how these things are actually impacting your life? Are you using Netflix as an excuse to not finish that last task of the day? Are you falling asleep on the couch and not getting the right quality of sleep, et cetera, et cetera? Like, I do think there has to be some things there, but that also brings up creating the lifestyle that you want to live. I think that's absolutely huge, and that's another reason why I'm a huge proponent of a personal brand, is because you live the lifestyle you want to live. You turn it into a product because you have experience in that area and you can help others do the same, and you get paid to do so, right? And I mean, there's always going to be people that are going to go into the industries that are needed to like fuel this world. That's what they're about. But me personally, that's just not who I am. And it's like, I'm not doing anything that I find interesting if I were to go those routes. So it's like, I have to maintain this specific lifestyle that gives me a lot of energy, and I know I'm making progress and I'm building something meaningful. And if I am doing those things and not lying to myself, then yes, there is room for leeway, right? And I do think it is also goal-oriented, because Netflix is only one thing there that could possibly pose an issue. But like eating out all the time, right? If your goal is to get jacked, there's leeway, right? Like you have to be very conscious of your goal and make sure that your lifestyle is in accordance with that goal, is in alignment with that goal. And so it's the same thing with like going to a festival and drinking, and festivals don't happen too often. So it's like when Dakota came down here and there was a huge festival with a lot of people that we listened to, we're going fucking in, man. And we did go in quite literally, and it was not enjoyable, but yes.
We couldn't even go the third day. We were so fucking burnt out.
Man. That Taco Bell night was... It wasn't cool, man.
That was something else. I won't forget that.
That's something that will come out at a later podcast. I don't really want to talk about that. But classified.
The classified podcast.
But but yeah,
an article.
The thing is like it's being conscious about it, right? Not just like going through the motions because it's like you're following what other people want to do. It's like, oh, my friend's doing this, so I'm going to do it too. And it's like you being very conscious of, yes, this is not going to impact me hitting my goal. And a lot of the times it's actually helpful in hitting your goal. It's a good reset, and a lot there. And now We talk about this because we want to ease the tension between like the you feeling guilty about doing it, right? That's what we don't want. But what we do want is you to be conscious of it. What we also don't want is for this to be an excuse to just do it all the time, right? Because I feel like that's what it could come into. It's like, oh, Dan and Dakota said I can watch Netflix. Dan and Dakota said I could drink alcohol. And then you do it every fucking day. That's not what we're telling you to do. So don't be a fucking idiot about what we're telling you to do here. And just, like be conscious of it. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, it's like fucking like when you're in the gym, like you need rest days, and maybe not make it like a whole rest day when it comes to Netflix and stuff, but like you need these little time to like wind down. Like, you need these like peaks of progress, and then just kind of come down a bit so you can recharge and then just go back up. And yeah, exactly like you said, like as long as you don't make it a fucking everyday thing where you're just watching Netflix and I don't know, doing whatever.
Just be smart about it, guys. Thing. Just be smart about it. And
just don't be an idiot. Stop being a fucking idiot. I'm talking to you.
One other thing I wanted to talk about. This will be the ending, and this may go on for a long time, but I want to hear your craziest travel story. It doesn't have to be that one, but just
I got a lot of fucked up ones.
We're not PC. Yeah, we're not PC on here too.
I'm trying to think of which one. Okay. Okay, so all right, I'll say this one. Okay, so this is extremely fucked up, but whatever. I don't care.
We're all fucked up. That's the thing. That's the thing is like everyone does fucked up shit.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get behind the scenes now. Okay, so so me and my friend, we went to Asia. We did a month in Thailand, a month in Vietnam, and then I did Cambodia by myself. But when we were in Thailand, we had all these different kinds of adventures. And it came like day 29 or whatever in Thailand, and we were about to go to Vietnam. And to go to Vietnam, you have to, I don't know, go to the fucking Bangkok, because that's where the airport is and everything. So we're in Bangkok. We're just chilling out for the few days, and during the time, I was doing this no-fap shit. Like, you know how everyone on tour
I think
is
it
like,
is.
oh, no-fap's amazing and
No
everything. And
I don't give a shit.
all that. And I was like, okay. Fuck that, man. That's crazy. Okay, so I didn't jerk off for like 29 days. And I was really fucking horny. I'm not going to lie. I was super
You got to transmute that energy, bro.
So I was like to my friend.
Oh, shit.
I transmuted it all right. So it was like we're like got like 2 days until our flight to Vietnam, and I'm like, do you just want to like go to a massage parlor and get like a rub and tug? Like, fuck it. So he's like, yeah, sure, like fuck it, okay. And I was like, okay. So we go to the red light district, and we're looking around. We can't find one or whatever. I don't know why. So we're looking around for like half an hour, and we finally come across this one, and this chick's like, oh, you want massage and all that? I was like, I don't know. So they have these like menus and stuff. So like you come up to look at the menu of like what massage you want. I'm looking at it, and she like comes in and to my ear. She's like, you want special massage? And I was like, yes, I want special massage. And so she's like, okay, follow me. So we go up the stairs, and like right as I enter, I'm like, holy fuck, like, what are we doing? Like, this is fucked. This is fucking crazy. But we're going up anyways. So I'm following this chick, and we get up there, and there's this like old lady behind the counter, and she's like, oh, you're so handsome, boys, and all that like bullshit. And they're like, me and my friend are looking at each other like, what the fuck are we doing? But like, okay. So I go with that chick that was outside, and she's like fucking fine. And he goes with this other chick I didn't see her or whatever, but I was like, okay. So I get led up to one room. He gets led up to the other. We might not be able to air this one, but I'm gonna say it anyways. He goes up to a different room. I go up to one room, and so she's like, "Okay, you go get naked, lie on the fucking whatever, the massage board." And I'm like, "Okay." So I get naked. I lie down on the massage board. Buddy's in some other fucking room across, I don't know where. And so I'm naked, I lie on the massage board, and she comes in. And she's like, okay. She's like massaging me and all that. And she's like, okay, so it's 20 for hand job, 40 for blow job, and 60 for sex. And she's like, what do you want? I'm like, I just want a hand job. That's it. She's like, oh no, like why? Like, I'm like, bitch, like I just want a fucking hand job. Like I just want to get off. Like that's it. She's like, oh okay. So she's like massaging me half-ass, and she's like starts jerking me off. And then she started like blowing me, and I'm like, I'm not paying for this. Like, what the fuck? And she's doing that, and then she like comes up to my ear, and she's like, "Okay, for you, you pay 40, and you can fuck me 2 times." I didn't even
know this was a thing.
And I was like,
"Holy shit!"
I can't give up, dude. I was mind blown, and she was like. Or I was like, oh, well, I can't give up a good deal. So I was like, okay, sure. So I fuck her or whatever. I lasted like 10 seconds because I didn't jerk off for 29 days. She's like, I remember she hit me. She hit me. She's like, oh, you come so quick. Like, but I was like, yeah, whatever. And then she's like giving me a half-ass massage. And then as she's massaging me, she's like, oh.
What?
Does your friend like ladyboys? And right away, I was like, what? Like, my eyes were like wide. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, why? She's like, oh, my friend's a ladyboy. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, because the damage is already done. Like, I can't go bust into his room. Like, stop. Like, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, it's over. He probably got fucked by a ladyboy or something. So I was like, oh, I was just laughing. I was laughing my fucking ass off. And, yeah, so I fucked her again. And whatever. Got my half-ass massage. And, yeah, I get my clothes on. I walk downstairs. I see my friend in the lobby. He's sitting there with a shit-eating grin on his face. I got a big shit-eating grin on my face. And we were just both, like, laughing at each other. Like, what the fuck just happened? Like, and I'm thinking in my head, like, does this guy know that was a fucking ladyboy? And so I pay or whatever, and then I leave the place with him. And we're walking along. We're, like, just talking about it. And I remember he referenced, like, oh, yeah, like, kind of look like a dude. It's probably like a ladyboy or something, just, like, jokingly. And I was like, yeah, like, if it was, would you even want to know? He's like, yeah, probably. And I told him. And he was like, no fucking way, man. Like, oh, like, just laughing his ass off because he got charged $60 and all he got was a hand job. And
damn.
Yeah, that was a fucked up story. I don't think we can air that. That's pretty fucked up.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, that was the most fucked up story of my Asia trip. There was other ones too.
Holy shit.
I shit in a vase. I shot a rocket launcher. Just different shit, man.
Damn.
We might have to cut that one. That's pretty fucked up.
It's up to you. I'll air it, but if you want to cut it, we can cut it.
Let me think about it. That's fucking funny though.
Yeah, I'll let Devin go through that. And Have a good time. Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's just shit like that. But no, traveling is fucking sick. Like there's shit like that happens, and you're like, what the fuck? But there's also like a lot of good other memories from traveling that's more meaningful than getting a hand job at a rub and tug from a ladyboy.
Yeah.
I said that.
That was good though.
Yeah, man.
I'm crying, man. That's gonna be. It's gonna be energy for today. Holy shit! I've heard so many fucked up stories from you.
I got a lot.
I'm sure there's way more.
We'll make some in South Carolina or wherever we are too.
Oh yeah, live life to the fullest, eh? That's how you fucking do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The title of this podcast will be revealed: the little known way to live life to its fullest. Through
watch till end. Yeah. This one weird trick to living your life to the fullest.
Oh man. Yeah. That's good. All right, dude. That's all we got for this one. But,
okay, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
That was fun.
We covered the whole spectrum.
We covered. All right, we covered the whole spectrum. Dakota will be out here, possibly on more podcasts. I feel like I want to make this like I think it'd be cool, and it'd be helpful for me to like not have to outreach to people. But it's like I've had Zaid on twice. I've had JK on twice. I've had you on once, but it'd be cool to have you on twice. Like have a rotation of like Joe Rogan has all of his friends, and it's like I have a rotation of all the bros, and we just
only chads.
Only chads.
Yeah.
Damn. But yes, okay. So to end this, brother Dakota, where can people find you? What do you do? How can people hire you? And I'll leave. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm at Wrongs to Right on Twitter. WRITE. Might make the switch to RIGHT, but we'll see.
Wrongs to Jacked.
Wrongs to Jack. That's it. And if you want to hire me for a landing page, copy or ghostwriting, you can see the link in my bio, growthghost.com. And I'm also doing fitness coaching right now. So yeah, thank you. I like the alliteration. But yeah, I'm doing fitness coaching now, and I'm going to get some fucking crazy results for people. I got 5 to 6 people signed up now, and just working on that right now. So I'm doing both, but I'll outsource most of the stuff for the ghostwriting and shit like that, and I'll start to focus on the fitness stuff going forward. But yeah, that's basically it. Nothing too crazy.
Cool. Sounds good.
Cool.
Brother Dakota, thanks for coming on.
Brother Dan.
Will probably see you in like a month. Well, I'll figure that out with Joey.
Yeah,
tonight,
let me know.
Since he's flying in.
And
we will get this shit figured out.
Cool.
Once we figure out like where we want to go, then it's like seamless from there. But there's so many options, man.
There's a lot of options.
I would love to live in Texas. I think that'd be really fucking cool. I would love to stay here. I would love to fucking go to Florida. I would love to go into South. Jesus, you see the problem here?
Yeah, I know. I was looking at Texas. I thought I saw like some places for like $3,000 a month downtown.
Really?
But I might be mistaken. I don't know. Like that apartments.com is a bit weird. I'm not. But I'll look again.
Yeah, look again because
that'd be dope. I would love to go to Texas.
That would be so fucking sick. I'd be down for it. Okay,
yeah.
We'll talk about this later, or we'll have another podcast explaining our next moves. And yes, everyone, thanks for listening. Dakota, thanks for coming on. Any last words?
No.
Don't be a fucking idiot. Okay.
Yeah, don't be a fucking idiot. Be a Chad. Be a Chad.
Yes.
Don't be a Brad. Be a Chad.
Yeah, fuck Brad. All right. Later.
Fuck a day. All right. See you, homie.
Thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Modern Mastery podcast. I have a few favors to ask you. For a whopping $0, You can support this podcast by following, rating, and subscribing on whichever platform you are listening on. For an additional $0, you can share this podcast and tag us at Modern Mastery on Twitter or at Modern Mastery HQ on Instagram. This helps the Modern Mastery community grow and allows me to bring you top-tier guests to fuel your hunger for wisdom. It costs $0, but it does cost you your time, and we understand how valuable that can be. Lastly, if you are trying to build a one-person business as a content creator, coach, freelancer, digital product creator, or online educator, consider joining Modern Mastery HQ that has hundreds of proven processes, strategies, and systems that you can copy and paste into your life and business to become a highly paid, free, and fulfilled individual. Go to join.modernmastery.co/podcast to get your first month for $5 and gain instant access to 4 beginner legacy courses, hundreds of trainings and strategies, and a community of growth-minded individuals, because quite frankly, your friends and family just don't understand this kind of stuff. With that, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Modern Mastery Podcast, and I'll see you in the next one.